Okay, Mr. Vice Mayor, it is 9:08 and we are live.
Good morning. Welcome to the April 12th, I believe, pre-agenda meeting of the City of Lake Worth Beach. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll?
Yes, Mayor Betty Resch will be joining us late. Vice Mayor Christopher McVoy,
Present.
Commissioner Sarah Maliga,
I'm here.
Commissioner Kimberly Stokes is absent, Commissioner Reynaldo Diaz.
Here.
All right. So we have three of us here, which is a quorum. And I guess I will open, this is our pre-agenda meeting where we discuss things that we might want to bring up at future meetings or any other items that this meeting as a public noticed and recorded meeting allows us to talk about in the sunshine if there are any items that we as a commission need to. Sorry about that. Phone fell off. It's Stan. So I'd like to open it up. Does anybody have anything that they would like to start with? Commissioner Maliga, why don't you start if you have something?
I am in the car driving. Thank you, Vice Mayor. The only thing, as I will be asking the city clerk to put on a presentation from a group named Living Hungry. I met one of the people on the board. Her name's Laura. On my first trip up to Tallahassee at Mike Caruso's office, Representative Caruso's office. Her and I had a great lengthy conversation in regards to the amount of homeless, displaced kids that we have in our school system here in Lake Worth Beach. And she would love to come do a presentation to the city commission in regards to what she does and how she helps children that are displaced and hungry, and what the work that they've been doing in Palm Beach County. So I would like to have her come do a presentation to the city.
That sounds like a good thing. We might actually be a good idea to do that. Generally, we have a number of groups, I don't know of any that work specifically with, I guess there are some, but there are certainly groups that work with the homeless and those in need in various ways. It might be a good idea for us all to hear different ones, but certainly that sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, she
Especially if
focuses she focuses just on the children and the kids who are, I mean, there's a lot of people in the city who do a lot of things for displaced people, but the kids, especially being a foster mom, I know what the kids are going through in the school system. And unfortunately, they fall in the cracks because they're not over 18. They're not on the streets. They're not able to go to, to the services that are available. And sometimes their parents aren't capable. So, I think that whatever she has, if it's a positive for the city, we should be able to encourage her to come into our schools and work with the educational task force and try to get some stuff done and really move the needle on affecting those kids' lives.
Sounds good.
So I will connect her with Melissa then. I just wanted to get everybody's approval first.
Thank you. And drive safe.
Thank you.
Commissioner Diaz, do you have any items that?
Not necessarily, but thank you, Commissioner Maliga, for bringing that up. I actually, one of my good friends, Jeff Coons, is involved with that, and I talked to him yesterday about it. So, yeah, I think starting with a presentation and then seeing how we can help them would be huge. It's no small undertaking. They have quite the network, if you will, and I'd look forward to that presentation. So thanks for bringing that up.
Just to let everyone know, the mayor is now here.
Oh, welcome, Mayor. I hope your court session went well.
Hope you kicked butt.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. I'm still in this court hearing, waiting for my hearing, but I wanted to listen in if I could. So just ignore me.
Well, I don't know that we want to ignore you, but
But I can't, I got one ear in this one and one ear in the other one.
I,
So
I,
I'm just gonna listen.
D'Amatos. Mr. D'Amato, spell it and give a name
It-
and number, please.
do you have anything you'd like to,
I have a
raise?
lot, I can't even start because if they call my name, I'm gone, but thanks. Actually, Melissa, if you want to mute me, that would probably be a good idea. Thank you.
So the mayor has work conflict with the court session, but she's kindly listening in. She's not really in a position to be able to speak there, but thank you for joining, at least in a listening capacity. On the Commissioner Diaz, did you have any other items? And maybe before you go, apologies for the mayor's benefit. Commissioner, the only things that we talked about so far is that Commissioner Malega has met someone, and could you remind me the name of the organization, Commissioner Malega? I heard it, but it went.
Living Hungry. The lady's name that I met was Laura.
Yeah, an organization. She asked that a presentation be brought to the commission from that organization. We all said that sounded good and important. Commissioner Diaz, did you have anything in addition to that?
Yeah, I got a number of inquiries, and even something that I've been thinking about recently is around basically where I live, like 6th and 7th, around J and K Street. There's a tremendous littering problem, to put it bluntly, especially in our alleyways. And talking with one of the residents, there's an ask to have some more like accessible garbage cans maybe on some of the corners. Like, for example, there is one on the alley on 6, basically right behind that gas station where staff works really hard. Like when Little Blue drives by, he gets out of the car and empties it. But the ask is, can we have more garbage cans similar to that, maybe larger, because that one is usually overflowing, to kind of discourage littering in that area. So I don't know how to go about that process. I know there's a expense in acquiring the garbage cans, and I'm sure there's a little bit of staff time that's needed to empty it. But I would love to take a look at that.
Commissioner Diaz, we'll review that area and check it out. Jamie, do you have any thoughts about it?
I didn't hear any of that.
Oh,
We were going to.
I heard that was 6th, and what was the cross street? I'm sorry.
Like 6th and J, the alley in between J and Dixie, and maybe like 7th and J as well. It's a little bit tight. There's not a whole lot of setback, but maybe some of the neighbors there might be willing to take it on. But we can, if we have to go ahead, we could talk about that.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the area. The frustrating part a lot of times is a lot of the litter is around a lot of these trash cans that we have places. It's people for some reason don't want to take an extra couple feet and actually put it into the container. So unfortunately, a lot of times we're cleaning up around the containers, even when they're half full.
Right, and like in the case of that one by the gas station, it's a fairly small container for being out on a public street. I think it's only like, maybe it's less than a 33-gallon container, and it's consistently overflowing because you can't empty it fast enough.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that location.
Thank you.
Yep.
A thought, if it's okay to jump in, Commissioner Diaz. I think we've all, to varying degrees, at some of these meetings, and maybe at some of the commission meetings, we've talked about the idea of some sort of I don't know what the right name is, but a beautification. And
I'm sorry, Vice Mayor, you're
I'm muted.
There's some rattling and I didn't hear your last statement. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything.
I think Ronaldo has to mute. Commissioner Diaz is not muted.
Okay, he's muted now.
Okay, there it is. We heard some background noise.
Yeah, I haven't changed anything here, but what I was mentioning is that I think all of us on the commission at various times and to varying degrees have, but with some consistently, have talked about the idea of a, I don't know whether program or initiative or something else, but a city beautification kind of program where, at least in my mind, one of the aspects of it is that we really push it out as a program with some advertising and branding or something or other, and also with a clear message to the community that this is a sort of an all hands on deck and all different parts of city staff, as well as the community, as well as any private organizations or nonprofits, that we're all trying to work together to make the city more attractive. So one thought that came to mind, if that's something that we do want to try to encourage, and I imagine we would have to eventually vote on it or something, and it would need to be designed. But for instance, as Jamie mentioned, that it's unfortunate that sometimes we have garbage cans out, but people don't go the extra step. Perhaps if that kind of a broad program is in place and everybody sort of knows and somebody reminds, hey, as you threw that on the floor, hey, remember, we're trying to beautify the city. Can you pick that up and put it in? That there's kind of a collective extra energy to make that happen, and that the garbage can has some label on it that says, help beautify our community or something to that effect, just to add a little extra energy to it. I don't have particular experience design education programs. I think having it be a multi-department and includes code, it includes maybe other initiatives that help make some pieces of it happen.
No. Sorry, I'm just trying to get not sorry to cut you off, but this is something that I 100% agree, and I think it's kind of like a next step. But similarly, through Jeff Koons and others, I was gonna set up a meeting with Carmen and him because we're kind of working on this through the Lake Worth Lagoon Initiative, but also the League of Cities, where there's going to be hopefully a cooperative effort all around the Lake Worth Lagoon of municipalities, agencies, so on and so forth, neighborhood associations that are all going to kind of do their part in the and around the lagoon, their little area. And I think hopefully sooner than later, that will culminate in another presentation about that idea, because he did help set up, and I can't remember the organization now, but it's like the Palm Beach County, Keep Palm Beach County Beautiful. But yeah, similar but different work, and exactly on par with what you're describing.
Yeah, and that's great to hear. I wasn't aware of that one, so it's very good to hear of that, and I totally agree that very all kinds of different partners. I remember at some point somebody approached me, or maybe I was talking with Drew Bartlett's wife. Somebody alerted me to, I believe there's Keep America Beautiful. It's a national organization, and then they have local subchapters in there. But one of the things that really struck me, and it's very much the same line as what you're talking about, is that organization does its work of cleaning, not just because they want it to look better, but for exactly what you're talking about. All those plastics wind up eventually as microplastics in our waterways, and they're very conscious of that connection. So, and obviously we have direct contact with the Lake Worth Lagoon. So cleaning ourselves, that's another way to make it a multi-pronged effort. So yes, excellent.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
So I just wanted to mention that it's definitely something we've been already kind of working on and trying to start up. Yes, we have a number of things on our plate, but we have been working with some of our partners. As you recall, during our strategic priority session, we talked about quality of life, and one part of the quality of life priority is related to that. We've talked about a beautification program. Probably in the last month or so, I've met with some of our partners in the community, like Healthier Lake Worth, and talked to Ms. Carmel. And I know that she reached out to NAPC to try to incorporate the partnership of our neighborhood. So those efforts have started the talks to create such effort has started. And I need to follow up with that and how we move forward. We also researched the Keep Palm Beach County Beautiful program, and I'm looking at that as a model as well. So we've started it. It may be a slow start due to the amount of projects we have on our list, but we've begun those talks to bring in those partners. And we reached out to Healthier Lake Worth Beach because they also currently provide that type of beautification efforts in our community in partnership with our code enforcement team, where they assist residents in complying with some of the issues that may be addressing some of the eyesores in our community, and also helping that needed assistance with some of our residents so that they will come into compliance. So those efforts are happening at some level, but we're certainly looking to expand it to a wider program.
That's excellent to hear that you're already reaching out to a number of different ones. What comes to mind as you were speaking is, and this is way out of my expertise or even knowledge, but the idea of, and I guess for lack of a better branding, some way that in parallel to the concrete different efforts, okay, we're going to do this with Healthier Lake Worth, we're going to do this with NAPCA, we're going to do this with maybe the Guatemalan Maya Center, we're going to do this with Code. As those individual action parts of it are getting planned, if there's kind of a getting the word out in the community that this program of Beautify Lake Worth exists and that all these different pieces will be adding to it and more coming, I think having that, like I say, branding for lack of a better name, effort makes it easier for people to see, oh, that's why Code is coming to ask me about this, or that's why this organization is coming to help me. Wow, that makes sense. And maybe even some recognition reward type things could get incorporated, that, you know, here's a household that had an issue with whatever, you know, type of appearance thing, and here's where a change was made, somebody helped, and wow, look at it now, and they get some sort of award. Or I don't know the details, I don't have any experience, but
well, we're you don't have to worry about that. We're working all those things out, and of course, with bringing forth this program involves getting the word out and sharing what we're doing and what it's all about, because we're going to need, as you said earlier, it's all about us all coming together to make this effort happen, to beautify our city. All partners, all residents, city. So it's all hands on deck. And so communication and meetings and connection and putting our collective ideas together is very important and necessary.
great.
Can I interject real quick? I just wanted
Please.
to, I hit the mute button.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up,
had-
Commissioner Maliga.
Can you hear me?
We
It
can hear
goes,
you now.
Can you hear
breaks up.
me? Okay, I'm on 95. I apologize.
Be
I
very-
met with the CRA yesterday, and Christian and I are going to be working on 2 major cleanups in the south end of the CRA district. One along the FEC Railroad, probably putting the dumpster for the children, and then another one in Royal Point, Sienna. And we're going to do 2 huge cleanups in conjunction with the CRA, Healthier Lake Worth Beach, and the NAPC. We're just looking at dates now. So as soon as we have those dates set, of course, I will let everybody on the commission know.
Great. Thank you. Another piece of that and this is a question for the city manager. Is it okay if I mention a pilot project that we're thinking of?
Yes, we haven't rolled that out yet, but we're figuring out how we execute it.
So one of the thoughts, which, you know, that's why I think it's important to do as a pilot project to see how the trade-offs work. But one thought is that one thing that contributes to our city not looking as attractive as we might like is that if there are cars parked on both sides of the street sweeper clearly can't get all the way to the gutter to clean the streets. And then if you can't get to that part, it just blows back into other parts of the street. So one thought is to do a pilot program on some street in town that has a lot of on-street parking and see if that street and the folks that live on it would be willing to try an alternate street parking arrangement periodically, where we empty one side, run the street sweeper through, and then let people repark, and then do the opposite side shortly thereafter. And so I've been talking with the city manager and with a resident about, you know, could we try that? It's obviously alternate street parking where we already have difficulty with parking is not on itself very appealing. But if the trade-off is that you get really much cleaner streets, maybe folks would find, wow, that actually is pretty good. Let's try it.
Right. So that certainly is something we're exploring. We're trying to navigate the logistics of it. We need to find what's part of that process is determining which street we start at. And it's important to really get to understanding of the effect and how it's executed. We will need a street that has no driveways. So because the challenge, as you know, in our community, we have a number of streets that residents do not have driveways. And so in order to find alternative street parking, they will have to then feed onto adjacent streets. And so that may be a challenge in some communities. So we're looking at it. We're trying to work out the logistics and the issues of navigation and making that happen. So be patient with us. So we want to make it right, and so that we can determine if we do this, how it could be executed around the community. But we need to try to use this as a staging point or a trial run, so to speak, as to see how that works. So we haven't identified an area yet. And so working with Mr. Brown, and we'll see how that happens. We'll let you know.
Thank you for that effort, to both you and to Jamie Brown on that, and anyone else who's involved from the city. Does anybody have any other things?
I did have something else I wanted to mention. And this was, I've been thinking about this idea for a while, and the District 2 Community Forum, we actually got a response from someone that echoes what I'm thinking, which is, I think we should have a regular forum at the Guatemalan Mayan Center, town hall meeting, whatever we want to call them now, but similar to our district quarterly meetings, but one where, and GMC has already expressed interest in doing this and providing translators, and where we speak, specifically to our community out there.
I think that's a great idea, and my understanding is, and keep our fingers all crossed, that they will be moving to larger quarters quite soon, and that's in place and working. I agree that I think to reach different parts of our community, sometimes we have to make an extra effort to reach out. I'd also like to see us consider, I'm not sure quite where or how, but if there's a way that we can reach out to the Haitian community as well, I think that would be a good thing. And if there are any other ones that we can do, that would be a good thing to do. I think it was helpful. It was well attended. In that regard, I had encouraged people, if they couldn't make the forum, to email me comments, and I did, and I had said I would read them at the meeting, but we didn't have time at that one, so I wasn't able to do that. If everyone else is all right with it, I'll combine those emails and send them to the city manager and ask her to distribute them to the commission as a whole, so that at least those voices also get heard.
I do have a question regarding the meetings. So Commissioner Diaz, would this be a meeting in the community or in our city hall? Do you foresee that? Just trying to get an idea of how, and we can talk offline in your thoughts and vision of that meeting. And are we talking about a weekday or weekend? And I must say, right now, we having so many meetings, not to say I'm discouraging it, certainly we can work it out, but I want to make sure you're aware it's already hard to find dates. And so on the 18th, we'll be talking more about our commission meetings, the pre-agenda meeting, workshops, and others. And certainly we can do a deeper dive at that meeting to see how we fold in all the other meetings that we need to have as well. And I think once you see the full picture of our schedule, that'll make a difference in how we plan that out.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And GMC offered to host, or they're interested in hosting. And, even now, and it would be easier when they move to a bigger place for sure, as Vice Mayor McVoy just mentioned. But I'm thinking, something regular, just like our quarterly forum. So it doesn't necessarily have to happen, immediately, because for sure we're going to be busy with the budget, but like to kind of get that on our regular repertoire, if you will. And it would be a community meeting for sure, just very similar to the forum, except it would be in Spanish.
Okay, that makes a difference. I didn't know how immediate the timing was.
Right. And to Vice Mayor McVoy's point, we did talk about doing similar for the Haitian community, which I think for sure should be done, as well. A little bit more challenging. We're kind of lucky because GMC is so centralized and already well established that I feel like that would be, really easy to set up in comparison. And, the person I've been talking with at GMC, she even pointed out that when they've tried to organize Haitian community, there are some challenges, but that's something that we can talk to them about as well to get some insight to help set that up in the future. And on that note, I want to almost advertise that there is going to be another first-time homebuyers program. I don't have the dates because I'm on my phone right now, but community partners, our CRA, and others. And the cool thing is that the next first-time homebuyers club is going to be taught completely in Spanish. So, if we can help get the word out, because it's a great program.
Yes, Commissioner Diaz, I actually sent those flyers yesterday to the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, to the Guatemala Maya Center, to the APC, and to some of the pastors in the community. I forwarded those flyers. So hopefully they will spread the word.
Yeah, thank you so much for that.
I'm sure our team has put it on our social media.
Any other items? I had some, but anybody else?
Just a few announcements, Vice Mayor. I don't know if, let's see, we have Taco Fiesta Saturday, April 22nd at Bryant Park from 3 to 10 p.m. This Saturday on the 15th, we have the Mobility Plan Public Workshop that will be at the Bohemian Commercial Building, which is at 101 East Coast Street from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. So more information is on our website. We encourage those who would like to attend to RSVP, as we can plan to make sure we have enough seating and food. William, did you have anything you want to add to that? Just want to
I
give you the
just heard
opportunity.
from somebody that when they type in the address 101 East Coast Street, it doesn't come up in Google. It does on my phone. I haven't been able to figure out what the problem the individual may have had trying to find it, but it's the little sort of jewel box, 2-story building right on Lake on the corner of East Coast Street and Lake Avenue on the southwest corner. The address appears to come up on 3 of my phones and the city computer, so I don't know what Google service is being used by individuals in the city where that address is not coming up, but I apologize about that.
And can you repeat again which building? So it's not the Bohemian itself? It's
It's in the little building that's in front of it, the 2-story commercial building.
okay. All right. That's helpful.
And then also, Vice Mayor, just wanted to let the public know that there's work being done on City Hall. They're pressure washing and repairing some exterior areas of our building. And so you'll see us parking away from the building. And so I just want to say that for the public. So we apologize for any inconvenience in the parking, but we're trying to preserve our building. I don't know if Jamie had some additional information you'd like to share with that, Jamie?
Yeah, so we, with the weather the past 2 days and probably today, it's kind of a day-to-day thing. Sort of kind of keep everyone updated on a daily basis. The plan was to get everything completed this week, but with the rain, it's been a little difficult.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. And I believe that's it. Like I mentioned before about our meetings, Vice Mayor, on the 18th, April 18th at our commission meeting, one of the agenda items or a couple of agenda items will relate to the commission meetings. We'll be talking about our public input online, that policy, and we'll also talk about our commission meetings, workshops, and the pre-agenda meetings is reevaluating the purpose and the content of the discussion, and then as well as workshop sessions. Right now, as I mentioned, we have a number of major issues to discuss, and finding a available workshop and balancing calendars is becoming a challenge, and that's due to our workload. We have a number of important issues we must discuss. So we're going to come with some ideas on how we can work in having a regular workshop date. So all that that's just a prelude to the discussion.
Great.
Anything, Melissa may want to add something to that. Give her the opportunity if she has something.
Yes, go ahead, please, Melissa, if you do have something to add.
The other thing regarding public comment is I'm requesting the deadline for online submissions to be changed because I just have too much going on before the meeting.
Okay, and so that we'll discuss that on the 18th.
Yeah, that's all in the staff report.
Yeah, and I think we're also talking about some changes to the rules and decorum and just general meeting discussions.
Okay, good. We'll look forward to that. Any other items from City Manager's office?
That's all. If any other of the departments have any announcements or information you'd like to share, I certainly welcome them. I may have forgotten something. It's like, no, looks like we're good, Vice Mayor.
I have 2 items that I've been thinking about a little bit. I know that I don't remember whether it was at commission meetings or pre-agenda meetings, but we have on and off talked about, do we want, and I believe Commissioner Diaz has raised it a number of times, of do we want to have an effort, maybe not in the middle of budget, I don't know, to look at in a comprehensive way our planning and zoning and the various different aspects of it, and make sure that it's in line with what we in the community feel is what we would like our city to be. Does our code capture that as well as we'd like? I think Commissioner Diaz may have mentioned it as sort of bringing in an outside land use planning expert to help us look through all the various different aspects of our code and LDRs and so on to make sure that they are in alignment. I don't know if that's something that Commissioner Diaz is still sees as a priority. I do see it as a priority. And so I'm raising it for a little bit of discussion at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think, as I've said before, it's probably a good practice to do that on an annual basis to start with. And sometimes it's great to have, that little bit of that outside perspective, if you will. And I know there's probably quite a few municipalities that have been set aside as like a budget thing for annually to kind of take a look and at the very least do a little bit of cleanup, or looking at what is working, what hasn't been working and whatnot. So yeah, and there's a number of groups that we could probably reach out to in that regard that would be helpful, that I could probably discuss with Carmen if everyone is up to it.
Okay.
All right. Maybe you can discuss that with Carmen and some of the details, and then maybe we can bring it back to either a commission meeting or a pre-agenda one when we're all here and, get consensus if we want to move forward with that.
Okay.
We're not all.
I'm sorry, Vice Mayor.
Go ahead.
Interrupt. No, I was going to ask. I said, well, certainly coupled with that is certainly having a visioning of the city. Have we completed, or are we planning on looking at the overall roadmap that we like to see the city in? I think that'll be very important to carry out that analysis or evaluation of our LDR. So you may have to couple that with.
Yeah, I think that.
Approach.
I think that makes sense, that we have some sort of effort to get a sense of what is our collective vision for neighborhoods, what is our collective vision for downtown, what is our collective vision for Federal and Dixie, maybe 10th and 6th, and sort of break it down into those areas, maybe the Park of Commerce area, and just make sure we have a fairly decent idea of where we want to go, and then check, does our zoning match with that vision? An effort of some sort along that line, I think, is important.
Mm-hmm. And do you foresee? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna throw in there also, our visioning, our plan to make sure we're on track, but also factoring in things like our upcoming mobility study and our housing study as well. So I think we have a lot of really important and useful tools coming soon that would be, pretty influential or important, crucial to this process. So I think we have a lot of good going for us right now.
That makes a lot of sense to integrate those together.
Yeah. Well, if I can suggest, Commissioner Diaz, that you and me and William sit down and talk through the process and what's necessary to carry out and create a framework for discussion, and then how we move forward if that's the direction of the commission.
Yeah, that would be
Sounds like a
phenomenal.
plan.
That would be great.
Okay.
Great. The other item, is there any other commentary from anybody else in relation to that? All right, hearing none, we'll carry on. The other item I have is, every now and then somebody will notify me, either a resident themselves, or in this case, it was another organization looking out for a resident, where we have a situation where a residential electric and water bill just goes crazy in terms of the usage, both of water and electric in the cases that I'm familiar with. And of course, the bill then also goes crazy. And the one that I'm going to raise and ask for help from the city manager, I'll send information on it to you, because they've actually been cut off, is somebody in a household, actually happens to be in my district, although that's not particularly important, had normal sized bills. Their electric usage was a little on the high end, but steady at around 1,800 kilowatt hours a month. And then for some reason in January, it jumped to 4,000. 4,000 is about 4 times, a little under 3 to 4 times the normal amount for a household. And there was, so far, I haven't had a chance to meet with them yet, but there's no obvious reason why somebody's usage would jump to that high. And at the same time, their water usage went also to an outrageously high amount. I have no idea where that's coming from. I suspect that it's not necessarily an actual increase in usage, but of course they're getting billed from it. I think we need to have some way of systematically looking to make sure that that isn't happening very much and try to figure out why it's happening. I remember, I don't know, a couple of years ago now, I looked at the collective, trying to look statistically at all of our usage and noticed that there were a number that were very high that way, like similar 3 to 4 times, that didn't make sense. And I think it's an important area for us to look at, because obviously somebody who's getting a total bill of water and electric of over $1,000 when they, as far as they know, have very normal usage, that's a real problem. So this specific case, I'll bring you to the manager after our meeting. And but I think seems to be an underlying issue. I don't understand it. Don't know how it's coming about. I don't know that anybody does, but I think we need to look into it.
Vice Mayor, if I may, Ed Liberty, Electric Utility Director, if you can just give me that address right now, and I'll call customer service and get the background on it immediately. You're right. The process should catch that. My understanding is that there's an exception process before bills go out, so it should have caught something like this. So you can give me that address right now. We'll begin the effort.
Well, Vice Mayor, please don't get the address out right now. Send that information to me, and we'll look at it. I just don't want to put the address out on broadcast.
It sounds you're right. It does sound highly unusual.
Yeah, and usually I don't know if this is a widespread issue. From time to time, I guess it could be various reasons, and certainly we do look at these on a case-by-case basis and check it out.
But certainly it does sound unusual that a bill that large.
Yeah.
Look like Commissioner Maliga's hand.
Commissioner Maliga, I'm not seeing the hand. Sorry, I apologize.
Hi, thank you. I'm actually at my appointment, but I just wanted to bring something up to everybody that I had kind of had a panic moment when this new permitless carry bill was passed, and reached out to legal to figure out what does that mean for us as a municipality, as far as what can we do in regards to staff and making sure that we don't have staff bringing in firearms just because it's permitless carry now. And what do we do to protect City Hall? So if we can try to get an update to the entire commission, that would be great. And a plan on what we're going to do to make sure that we're protecting all of our residents and staff in the commission.
Thank you.
I think that's a very justified panic moment. So thank you for that.
Had a lot of them in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, we can accommodate us. I'm sure Glenn may tackle that issue, and we can make some space on a future agenda, or he can give an update during the next session. I'll let Glenn talk. How about that?
We'll do, Carmen. We'll do.
Glenn, if you could bring that forward at next week's meeting in regards to, when you have your city attorney update on what you think the best practice will be. This isn't something that I want to kind of I don't want to kick this down the road. I want to be proactive on this just to protect everybody. I know the hands are tied in certain areas, but if you can make that as part of your attorney update next week, that would be great.
Right. You're more to focus on employees and guns in the workplace as opposed to the public.
Both.
Both. I
want both.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Anybody else have any items?
No, sir.
All right. Well, if we have no more items, then maybe we will call it adjourned.
All right.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you, staff, and thank you.
Thank
all.
you. I look forward to getting that information from you, Vice Mayor, on the utility.
Yeah.
Okay.